Okay, so tutorial 1-2 starts with a new project, so I'll go ahead and open it up via Windows File Explorer. First thing the instructions ask us to do is save our project, so we'll go to Project and Save As. I'm going to name this tutorial 1-2 printer. Click Save. Now we're going to get into some of the main features of ArcGIS Pro, a little bit about how to navigate around the software. If you have Windows open, I'm going to close the catalog window, and we're going to hit zoom to full extent just to make sure we have the best possible view of our data we can. We're going to start with using a pop-up window. Click on the clinic that is farthest to the left, this yellow one right here. We get a little bit of information about that particular feature. This gives us an overview of what type of clinic it is, where it's located, and even a URL to some additional data about that clinic. The pop-up window comes with a number of additional features, so we're just going to move it a little bit. We'll start with the leftmost button here, which allows us to select a feature that we've got located. When I click it, you'll see that it turns blue. This is the sort of universal selection color that ArcGIS Pro uses by default, and that would allow us to somehow modify or remove or add that data to another layer if we wanted to. The second button allows us to flash that feature on our screen. That just helps us visually identify that. And then finally, we can zoom to the feature in our map. So we'll go ahead and close the pop-up now and click zoom to full extent again. Now, depending on the type of mouse you have, zooming may work differently than how the book describes. Since I am actually using this on a Mac, I use the Mac's trackpad to zoom in and out. Windows computers with a scroll wheel will use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out. As I noted before, it's going to take just a minute or so for the software to catch up to your instructions. When I zoom to a certain extent, we get to a point where now we can see the streets around the clinic that we are interested in. Again, you can set these layers to be visible or not visible depending on the extent, and this makes the map easier to navigate by limiting the amount of information that is visible at different points. You can step backward to through the extents you've used previously, as well as forward by using these two forward and back buttons on the ribbon. I'm going to skip over the zooming to rasters because it's not a type of data we're going to use all that much. We'll come back to that later in the semester. I do want to talk about bookmarks, though, really quickly. So bookmarks are nice if there's an area you find yourself coming back to repeatedly as you work on a map. You can bookmark it to make it easy to get to. They're available in that same area of the map ribbon called bookmarks. If we click down, you can see that we've got a number of available bookmarks. We're going to start with the poverty areas bookmark. And you'll see that it immediately changes our extent and what we are looking at with these data. And again, if this was a view that was particularly important to your work, that you are frequently using, having it bookmarked can make it much easier to work with the software. This section of the chapter also walks through panning and zooming again as we create a new bookmark. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit on the map here. And then I'm going to create a new bookmark of this location. Click OK. Now if I zoom to full extent, I can use that test bookmark to get back to where I left off. Okay, next we want to talk about being able to search for particular features on the map. So I'm going to uncheck the population density data and check the municipality data. We'll right-click on the municipalities in the contents and click on their attribute table. This gives us access to the tabular data that I discussed before. So all spatial data is going to be made up of some geometric data that locates it in space, as well as tabular data that describes whatever it is that we're mapping. And here we have the outlines of different municipalities in the Pittsburgh area. Every shapefile and feature class that we work with from a geodatabase will have a particular attribute table that we can work with. We're going to start by using the Select by Attributes button. We've already, by default, will be searching the municipalities data, and now we're going to start by adding a clause or adding something we want to search for. So we want to search for a name that is equal to McKees Rocks. We'll add that and click Run. And when we choose only the selected records, we will see our polygon for McKees Rocks has been selected by that search. We can zoom into McKees Rocks by right-clicking on municipalities and going to selection and then zoom to selection. And there we have the rather small municipality of McKees Rocks. We'll go ahead and clear this selection. And that is the end of the second tutorial. So we'll save our work and close ArcGIS.